There are tons of amazing destinations in Washington State. With every new series of nature documentaries from beautiful Washington, you'll be taken to the most fabulous spots and learn plenty of interesting things about Washington. Stunning landscapes and endless discoveries await. Mt St Helens National Volcanic Monument features crystal clear lakes, vast valleys under spacious blue skies, unique forests, and one glorious view after another. It's an outstanding area offering numerous opportunities for volcanic research and incredible recreation. It's a nature lover's paradise, but is it really a paradise? This is one of the most scenic and yet horrific places in southwestern Washington of the United States. When talking about it, people remember the mountain's eruption. This catastrophic event happened on May 18, 1980. The enormous eruption caused a major destruction in the history of the USA. 57 people lost their lives. Many homes and hundreds of square miles of forest were destroyed. These days, Mt St Helens is quiet, but it doesn't mean that it's safe. There is no doubting the power of nature. You may witness an outstanding example of regeneration of flora and fauna. A scenic drive along the Spirit Lake Memorial Highway, also known as Highway 504, is a great opportunity to experience the magnificent beauty of nature. Enjoy the wonderful scenery of the surrounding area along the way. You'll see the abundance of greenery, lush forests, and of course, breathtaking views of Mt St Helens. The views leave you breathless. During your incredible journey, you may witness how nature has progressed since the eruption. The route is full of amazing bridges and turns. There are several lookout points where you can stop and take in panoramic views. You won't even notice how you get to the main attraction, Mt St Helens, because of the gorgeous scenery. It's hard to imagine that this serene and pristine area was destroyed by the eruption, and there wasn't one green thing. Everything was ash gray. Thousands of people visit this area every year. Nowadays, Mt St Helens is a well-monitored volcano in the Pacific Northwest because it's still active. The area returned to life due to the hard work of Mother Nature. Mt St Helens National Volcanic Monument was established after the eruption in 1982, occupying 110,000 acres of land around Mt St Helens. Enjoy the calming effect of nature while sitting near Coldwater Lake and contemplating peaceful natural scenes. Crystal clear water of the lake and fascinating birds singing will refresh your mind and stir your imagination. Coldwater Lake Recreation Area offers lots of opportunities for picnicking, boating, and bird watching. Visitors flock here to admire the magnificence of the volcanic crater, the lava domes, and other landscape forms. What really makes the area incredibly attractive are the wildflowers in their bloom season. You'll be amazed at the fabulous carpet of wildflowers covering the slopes of Mt St Helens. If you choose the right time, you can enjoy amazing collections of wildflowers. It depends on the elevation, as the higher you go, the later the flowers start to bloom. There is a mixture of different plants here, such as Indian paintbrush, penstemon, lupine, oxeye daisy, and more. Visitors are offered to explore an ample number of hiking trails where they can find beautiful compositions of wildflowers on the different sides of the mountains and take in the views of the giant crater. Sometimes it feels like the summit of Mt St Helens is lost in the clouds. You'll see evidence of the devastation, but vegetation is doing its best to return to life. Plenty of stumps and logs cover the slopes after having become an integral part of the area. For the past few decades, the number of trees and shrubs increased significantly. Most of the trees were replanted, but some of the evergreens managed to survive the destruction because they were protected under the late-lying snow cover in mid-May. You can see other devastating consequences of the eruption, but when looking at this majestic landscape, you can forget about everything. Birth of Lake Trail is an easy hike you shouldn't miss on your trip to the Pacific Northwest. The trail is accessible for everyone and perfect for nature trips, walking, and birding. A part of the trail leads through a deciduous forest, and it's pleasant during the hot summer days. You can immerse yourself in the peaceful ambiance of the surrounding area. Birth of Lake Trail is a little bit more than half a mile of trail meandering along the shoreline of Coldwater Lake. Take in the vivid colors of greenery, yellow and purple wildflowers, which are more fragile than they appear. During the hike, visitors can find lots of fascinating trees and other plants and listen to soothing birds singing that will make your pastime more pleasant in the area. What makes this hike truly unique and interesting is a winding boardwalk that stretches over the lake, offering incredible views of Mt St Helens. It's a great place for families and kids to have a good time in nature. It doesn't need any preparation. Throughout this short hike, the scenery is gorgeous all the way around. While taking a leisurely stroll along the boardwalk, you get a close look at the water and feel a cool breeze at Coldwater Lake. In such moments, you'll want to stop time and stay for as long as possible. Coldwater Lake is one of the youngest lakes in the United States. It's nestled on the territory of Skamania and Cowlitz counties, and so peaceful here. But it wasn't always so. The area has changed significantly in the past decades, struggling to recover from the eruption. The lake features lots of recreational options such as boating, swimming, and bird watching. The place is well worth a visit. It's full of numerous scenic hiking trails leading through the lush forests and steep slopes. There wasn't a lake here 38 years ago. It used to be a creek. Located in the middle of the blast zone, The lake was created by the 1980 eruption of Mt St Helens. It's now more than 4 miles long and 200 feet deep. You'll enjoy lots of blooming wildflowers on the trails from late spring throughout the summer. Flowered slopes make the visit even more breathtaking for tourists. There's so much greenery around. A light wind is shaking the plants, flowers, and green leaves of the young trees. Stop for a break, take in the views of the colorful meadows, and appreciate the quiet and serenity. There are also great hiking trails around Coldwater Lake. During your trip, you'll discover several amazing creeks that you can jump over. Admire the wildflowers blooming along the shoreline of the lake. It's a picturesque place to catch glimpses of Mt St Helens. There are lakeside benches to soak up the relaxing views of Coldwater Lake. This place is so serene, you can stay here for hours. Then you can keep hiking through the dense woods that provide habitat to many creatures. A little sunlight is trying to penetrate through the trees, which protect the visitors from those hot days. You'll pass several switchbacks and wooden bridges on your way. Being absorbed in the forest in a flash, you will find yourself next to the lake again. Many trees were blown down, which is why the road is so wide open. This place is perfect for a day hike. The area is full of life. You'll find a fascinating mountain creek that looks like a little waterfall. Take a break next to the creek cascading through a chasm in the rock. It is simply spectacular. Coldwater Lake is also a popular fishing destination. There are several fish species in the lake that visitors can catch: rainbow trout and cutthroat trout. It's hard to realize that the lake is new. Sometimes, through catastrophe, a beautiful, tranquil place can be created. There is a small island of logs on the shore. The water is gorgeous. Plan on visiting during a bright sunny day to enjoy the pleasant views of the surrounding peaks and the lake. The water sparkling in the sun while you savor a few moments of nature in the silence. Take a look at what happens under the waters of a grassy lake. Have to take a close look at the lake bottom. At first, after the eruption, the lake was muddy, full of ash and debris, but now the water is as clear as possible. The banks of the lake teem with different plants and flowers. There's a great amount of vegetation and unique timberland in the area. Here you can relax in the sunshine without worrying about time. The views seem to get better with every step. It's Harry's Ridge Trail that starts near Johnston Ridge Observatory. It was named after the owner of the Mt St Helens Lodge, Harry Randall Truman, who refused to leave the area during the evacuation. Unfortunately, the man and his lodge did not survive under the volcanic debris and ash from the eruption. This trail leads to the heart of the blast zone. It's one of the most popular day hikes in Mt St Helens National Volcanic Monument. From the first few miles, you'll see scarring geological phenomena called volcanic mudflows or lahars, and a huge landslide. It was the largest landslide in U.S. history. The mountain lost about 1,300 feet of its top. Now you can see a gorgeous Spirit Lake with plenty of floating logs even after all these years from the disaster. Take in the scenic views of Mount Adams in the background. But if you're looking for awe-inspiring mountain views, a valley covered with fascinating wildflowers, lakes, and of course, Mt St Helens crater, then you are at the right place. A beautiful summit of Mt St Helens attracts many visitors and volcano lovers, hikers, and geologists. But now you can admire views of the volcano from a safe distance. The higher you climb Harry's Ridge, the better the views. This is an epic landscape. Hikers are so small when compared to this magnificent mountain. There are masses of blooming wildflowers. From late spring till mid-autumn is a fantastic time to hike the trail when the wildflowers are in their peak. By the way, purple lupine was one of the first plants to return to life after the eruption. The slopes beneath Mt St Helens are painted with bright colors like red, orange, yellow, purple, and green. There are photo opportunities everywhere. It's a nice spot to put your photography skills to the test and capture the stunning views of Mt St Helens and the surrounding peaks. While climbing up to the top, you'll be treated to spectacular views of Spirit Lake. After the big blast of 1980, it was changed forever. It's now larger and located 200 feet higher than it was before the eruption. Now the area is full of beauty and history. Fallen logs, tree stumps, lahars, crystal clear lakes, ridges, and trails make Mt St Helens very unique. All these elements can tell you the story about that fierce devastation. The hike is gorgeous, but it may seem challenging in many ways. One part of the trail is sketchy and the path is pretty narrow. It winds along a steep hillside, providing incredible views of Mt St Helens and the other ridges. From the top, you can enjoy the amazing 360-degree views that include Spirit Lake, Harry's Ridge, and Mount Adams. This is a unique chance to see the forces of nature up close. While visiting this place, you can see an amazing regeneration of nature up close. This peaceful hike features an awe-inspiring combination of wildflowers, grasses, and other plants. Summer is a perfect time when all plants blossom, providing one of the best floral shows within the monument. All plants are in harmony with each other and with nature. This is an area of incredible beauty and diversity. Located in southwest Washington, about 50 miles northeast of Portland, Oregon, Mt St Helens is one of the most dangerous volcanoes of the spectacular Cascade Range of the Pacific Northwest. It also belongs to the Ring of Fire that includes the area around the Pacific Ocean where most of the world's earthquakes and volcanic eruptions occur. Another fascinating destination is South Coldwater Ridge Trail. It's one of the quietest trails in the area and takes visitors along the southern side of a magnificent Coldwater Lake. Immerse yourself in the shade of trees and enjoy the forest coolness as you begin your hike. This 6.8-mile round trip will lead you through the lush forest that is home for the local wildlife. Among the plants and wildflowers, this short hike through the forest will prepare you for the real adventure. All this beauty, the smells, the sounds of nature will give you a sense of tranquility and harmony. But soon the path comes out to an exposed area. The trail keeps leading upward, providing you with peace and solitude. This is a great place to pause and take in the surrounding landscape. There are plenty of stumps scattered across the ridge. The trail is great for a day hike in late spring when flowers start blooming. It's also a scenic spot to see and photograph wildflowers. The rest of the trail runs along the water, offering lovely views of Coldwater Lake. Hikers may enjoy boating, fishing, and picnicking in this area. More than 3 decades ago, this place was the site of destruction, and now you can admire the marvelous views, the wildflowers, and the barren soil, plus much more. Hearing the song of nesting birds means this area is returning to life. Look at the unbelievable power of nature. You should definitely add this trail to your bucket list, as there are a lot of things to explore. The most beautiful views and discoveries await. This catastrophic explosion destroyed everything on its path. You'll come across the remains of some machinery, logging equipment left after the eruption in 1980. All these vehicles were half buried in the earth. When exploring the area, be sure to check out Strawberry Mountain Lookout Trail. The path travels through the old-growth forest at the edge of the blast zone, but it features a few windows in the woods, providing sweeping views of the surrounding area. It's a wonderful hike for complete immersion into the forest atmosphere. There is a 2.2-mile trail that offers a number of activity options like cycling, hiking, horse riding, and camping. Gifford Pinchot National Forest includes the territory of Mt St Helens National Volcanic Monument. It's a native habitat for different animals and bird species. While observing the blast zone, you'll be rewarded with stunning views of the surrounding peaks. Each trail in Mt St Helens National Volcanic Monument is unique in itself. It can tell you new fascinating facts about that 1980 eruption and give you new perspectives of Mt St Helens. The scenery is thrilling. You'll witness the cataclysmic forces of Mt St Helens. There are also many bare trunks of burned trees towering on the slopes. Most of the trees were demolished and ripped from the ground by the eruption. It's a dramatic part of the trail. The area continues to change after the massive destruction. It's so exciting to see everything start to flourish. Hummocks Trail is a must-visit place that is popular year-round. In summer months, you'll enjoy the wildflowers blooming and the various plants. In wintertime, you'll be able to do some snowshoeing through this magnificent landscape. The forested area provides a rich habitat for a variety of wildlife. Some trees and plants survived the blast, protected by a layer of ash. This 2.5-mile loop trail leads through a varied terrain. You will find yourself in the land of beauty and diversity. The loop features a perfect mix of trail covered with trees and openings with scattered rocks and beautiful flowers that grow along the roadside. A trip to Mt St Helens will not disappoint and will leave you with a memorable experience. Admire the lovely meadow scenes along the Hummocks Trail. You'll see lush trees and sparsely vegetated hills that were created by the landslide. Be amazed at the diverse and interesting landscapes. The trail leads you through a series of steep rounded hills formed by debris avalanche deposits from Mt St Helens eruption. Hundreds of stumps and fascinating evergreens cover the slopes. The area is full of surprises, like remnants of the mountain, ponds, wetlands, and colorful wildflowers scattered around the valley. There are lush evergreens that have taken root on the very tops of these mounds, called hummocks. The trail bounds from one hummock to another. Summer or winter, this location is truly gorgeous. The scenery becomes magical when dense white clouds cloak Mt St Helens, and when disappearing, you'll see the entire top and enjoy magnificent panoramas of the north side of the mountain. Hummocks Trail is located in the Gifford Pinchot forest. The life has certainly returned to this place. It's a good trail to learn more about the eruption and see intriguing hummocks. The trail follows a part of the boundary trail to the Johnston Ridge Observatory. There's a lot of beautiful scenery to see on the way, but sometimes the sky is so densely overcast by clouds that it can be difficult to see anything in the distance. The hike exposes a variety of stunning Mt St Helens landscapes. All parts of the terrain were created by the debris avalanche. This is a great place to spot elk, especially in the spring. For sweeping views, take a scenic drive along a winding road through Pinchot National Forest to Windy Ridge. Forest Road 99, or Windy Ridge Road, is a good way to explore the area. While driving through sharp corners, you can observe the bare, burned trunks after the eruption, surrounding ridges and vast forests, and more fabulous views. If you don't want to miss anything, take your time while driving. The road will get you to your destination, Windy Ridge Viewpoint. The road provides access to several viewpoints and trails. It's typically open from June until the first heavy snowfall. Drivers should be extremely careful the whole time they're on Windy Ridge, as wild animals can be seen on the road from time to time. By hiking throughout Mt St Helens, don't miss your chance to explore the eastern side of this amazing volcano. The view you'll get from Windy Ridge Viewpoint is worth the 400-step climb. After passing a zigzagging sand ladder, you'll be rewarded with mesmerizing panoramic views. On your way up, you'll see lots of devastation. The hillsides are covered with fallen trees and mostly barren terrain. You're at the place where the entire ecosystems were wiped out from the face of the earth. After all these years, the territory has progressed. Now the area is rich in wildlife. You may see majestic deer grazing peacefully near the water. Take in the views of Spirit Lake, where brooding skies perfectly complement the scenery. A lot of animals suffered during the eruption. Over 1,000 Roosevelt elk and deer were killed, as well as hundreds of coyotes, bears, rabbits, various birds and insects. Researchers feared that it would take decades before wildlife came back to the area, but it happened much faster than expected. In the first days after the eruption, scientists found footprints of animals on the ground. Some insects and birds came to the devastated area almost at once. And after 5 years, a significant number of elk and deer were spotted there. Today, plants grow well and animals enjoy the area. It's now rich in wildlife. As vegetation spreads, elk spend more time in the valley or grazing on the slopes. The landscape is pretty different here than anywhere else in the area. At the top, you'll enjoy a new look at Mt St Helens. On a clear day, you can see into the crater. It's an amazing feeling to be that close to the volcano. This is a good place to pause and see a wide variety of geology. Just imagine what a tragedy occurred on that fateful day, May 18th, 1980. An explosion killed nearly every living thing in the area. Tons of ash, rock, and volcanic gas under volcanic debris flew through the sky. Some of the trees and plants survived the 1980 eruption under a deep snow blanket. You can see logs floating on Spirit Lake. Many of them were dumped or washed into the lake. The trail offers unique scenery and different experiences. In the summer, rich greens and bright hues of wildflowers paint the area. The slope is blanketed with the small white and yellow flowers. The lake below fascinates with its clear water and a floating log mat that covers a significant part of Spirit Lake. This is an area of incredible beauty and diversity. Located in southwest Washington, about 50 miles northeast of Portland, Oregon, Mt St Helens is one of the most dangerous volcanoes of the spectacular Cascade Range of the Pacific Northwest. It also belongs to the Ring of Fire that includes the area around the Pacific Ocean where most of the world's earthquakes and volcanic eruptions occur. Native Americans regarded Mt St Helens and other volcanoes of the Cascade Range with respect and esteem. The Klickitat and the Cowlitz were two major tribes who had lived in the area many thousands of years ago. Cowlitz Indians called Mt St Helens Lowetlatla, which means in English, smoking mountain due to the eruptive nature. Small earthquakes were the first signs of activity in Mt St Helens. They occurred 2 months prior to the eruption. When a series of volcanoes continued, seismologists took special note and started to monitor the volcano. On Sunday morning, May 18, 1980, a magnitude 5.1 earthquake shook the mountain. Within minutes, the mountainside started to slide away in a massive avalanche, followed by a huge volcanic eruption that devastated an area of about 230 square miles. After 1980, Mt St Helens still produced small bursts of tephra and gas. A new lava dome continued to form in the crater by 1986. Unfortunately, the volcanic activity didn't stop. There were a series of eruptions between 2004 and 2008, but this time, scientists were more prepared. Lots of monitoring techniques were utilized that helped them warn everyone of the volcano's activity. Mt St Helens also had hundreds of earthquakes throughout 2016 and 2018. All these natural phenomena make scientists closely monitor the area and pay special attention to Mt St Helens. At the same time, such unusual phenomena attracted a huge number of sightseers. On March 27th, the volcano produced its first explosions of steam and ash. Several photographers set up camps not far from the volcano, hoping to capture great shots of a volcanic eruption. Keith Ronholm and Gary Rosenquist were among the group camped there. They took a series of spectacular photos of the start of the eruption, which helped volcanologists study in detail the sequence of the eruption. They managed to survive as the camping area was located about 11 miles from the volcano. But that fateful day, there were also 2 photographers who died while photographing the eruption. They were both within a few miles of the summit. Robert Landsberg, a Portland freelance photographer, had no chance to escape, so he decided to photograph the eruption until the last possible moment. Then he put his camera into the backpack and covered it with his body. Reed Blackburn, a Vancouver newspaper photographer, was found in his car buried in mud and ash. Their photos became important to volcanologists, providing them with valuable documentation of the cataclysmic event that occurred on May 18, 1980. The massive 1980 eruption changed the landscape in and around Mt St Helens forever. The eruption provided the unique opportunity for biologists, botanists, plant ecologists, and other scientists to make incredible discoveries and conduct experiments. Everybody knew well of the hazards of working on this dangerous volcano. David A. Johnston, a geologist, was one of 57 people who lost their lives on that fateful day. His observation deck was about 5 miles from the volcano and was considered reasonably safe, but the eruption was unpredictable. It had gone straight up to his observation site and engulfed it. The observatory was called in his honor the Johnston Ridge Observatory. In the years following 1980, volcanologists have made good progress in developing new techniques and instruments for monitoring volcanoes. Some of them are still used all over the world. Scientists spent a lot of time around Mt St Helens studying the survival and recovery of life in the area, and counting various species of plants and animals. Despite the catastrophic event, there is a great biological diversity in this area today. The day following the eruption, May 19th, The sky was filled with ash and massive clouds that spread and darkened the sky over half of Washington state. Within a couple of weeks, a cloud of ash circled the globe. From the early morning, searchers started to look for survivors of the major eruption. The land had been so altered by the ash deposits and avalanche that it was hard to recognize what the place looked like before the eruption. Hundreds of people were rescued, but some of them just didn't have time to escape as they were too close to the blast. There were campers, loggers, curious volcano watchers, a miner, volcanologists, and photographers. Meadow Lake Trail is a short paved trail to an observation deck at the edge of Little Meadow Lake. The path winds its way through the dense forest. Now the area teems with life. Meadow Lake is a scenic and peaceful spot within Mt St Helens National Volcanic Monument. Several platforms allow visitors to look for aquatic life in the lake, marvel at sweeping views, and enjoy the tranquil moments. You'll see a large amount of vegetation and hear a number of birds and other soothing sounds from nature. Meadow Lake was in the blast zone, about 8.5 miles from the crater, but the large forest that surrounded the lake was destroyed. The trees around the lake, such as silver fir and mountain hemlock, were small enough to be completely covered by the protective layers of snow. They have served as an important seed source for forest recovery in the blast area. Salamanders, trout, and frogs somehow survived under ice-covered lakes, even though it was choked with ash and debris when the ice melted. Beavers and other animals also soon moved back into the area and built dams that have raised the lake level. The lush forest along the trail is filled with fascinating trees that create a peaceful and pleasing environment. The hike is a great opportunity to explore the diverse effects of the blast on both trees and plants. It is truly interesting to see how life survived in the blast zone. The path leads to the lake through the landscape covered by young bushes and trees. There is an abundance of wildflowers blooming, delighting visitors of Mt St Helens National Monument. They can experience both the feeling of complete solitude and serenity, along with spectacular views of their surroundings. Harmony Falls Trail is a short, steep trail, 2.2 miles round trip, meandering through the eruption-affected territory to the very lakeshore of Spirit Lake. Actually, this is the only public access if you'd like to get a closer look at the lake. The place is worth a stop. The trail features a pretty waterfall. The original Harmony Falls was impressive, but after the eruption, it became just a small creek splashing over the rocks, polished by water and glittering in the sun. It's so refreshing after the hike to take a rest and admire the lovely waterfall near the lake. The impact of the eruption on Spirit Lake was profound. It didn't even freeze in winter for many years after the cataclysm because of floating mats of logs. In 2005, scientists measured the clarity of water and found that it was even clearer than it had been before 1980. The lake ecosystem includes a variety of plant and animal life that has since returned to its waters. The views of Mt St Helens from this perspective are unique and inspiring. There used to be a Harmony Falls Lodge, a rustic resort on the shoreline of Spirit Lake. As the water level rose in the lake, The lodge site was under almost 200 feet of water. There are large logs on the shore and in the lake. These trees were all blown over by the blast in 1980. The entire area is still recovering from that catastrophic accident. Nature did a fantastic job. It restored itself and definitely deserves our respect. And if you're planning your trip to Mt St Helens National Volcanic Monument, you may choose any trail you like and enjoy the beauty that Washington State has to offer. Everyone comes here for different reasons. Some people visit the monument simply to relax, and of course take in the views of Mt St Helens and the surrounding peaks, while others want to learn about the history of that catastrophic event. A visit to Mt St Helens National Monument is an incredible opportunity to see a vivid demonstration of the mighty power of nature.